Good morning for those of you that are a bit early. Come on into the room. Come on in the room. All right. All are welcome. All are welcome in the room this morning. Come on in. Good morning. I always like to see who chimes in first. Good morning. Good morning. I don't know about where you are. It is a beautiful fall day here in Atlanta. Good morning, Sonia. Come on in. Everyone, come on in the room. Let's join in together. Welcome. I looked at, I know most of you are in Detroit. I looked at the weather this morning. It looks like it's sunny in Detroit, maybe a little cool. But I know if you're in Detroit, you ain't never mad at that as long as the sun is shining. A little cool weather ain't hurt nobody. Put your sweater on, your jacket on, get your coffee, get your tea, whatever you have this morning. Come on in the room. All are welcome. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, I saw Sonia. Let me see who else is coming in the room this morning. It's a good morning. It's a great morning where I am. Great morning. I'm excited about the message. Good morning, Armithia. Good morning. Man, I need to put my glasses on. I can't see some of the names. If I don't call your name out, good morning. I'm welcoming you into the room this morning. Wishing you good morning. Kendra, good morning. All I can see is the K and the V. All right. I see Joanne. I see you. All right. Good morning to everyone. Come on in the room. All are welcome this morning. Good morning, my sister Fran. Doesn't matter whether you're coming in from YouTube or Facebook. My sister Audra. Welcome to the room. Welcome to the space. Facebook, YouTube, or you might catch this message on recording on Facebook or YouTube, and I'll welcome you as well. And it's a blessing to be with you this morning. Good morning, Ronnie. Ronnie, coming in the room, everyone. It's a great space. It's a warm space. Welcome to TLC's Sunday morning service. It's always a blessing to be in the space. A special blessing this morning as we celebrate 25 years transforming love community this month. Man, such a it's not ironic, it's intentional, and just as it should be that TLC was born in the harvest season. We are still harvesting, and we're going into the harvest. And we're going to talk about harvesting today. We're going to talk about harvesting our gifts. We're going to talk about harvest time, all of that. And so it's a blessing to be with you this morning. Good morning, everyone who's coming into the room. Gratitude to Rev, wherever she is. I don't know if she'll be coming in this morning, but big gratitude to her um, this morning for, being the spiritual leader of TLC and being moved to start transforming love community when she did 25 years ago. So gratitude to her, love to her wherever she is, wherever she is. Good morning, my brother Ken. Good morning. Always good to see my brother. Hey, listen, it is Libra season. Before I start, I want to say happy birthday to all the Libras. Libra is about balance, right? And so, I love my Libras. And I have to tell you, I um I have just a special affinity with Libras. One because my mom was and is a Libra. Right? So happy birthday to my mom. Listen, happy birthday to all Libras. Libras that I know, if I don't call your name out, just want to say happy birthday to all the Libras. And the Rev is a Libra, Linnell is a Libra, Reverend Royce is a Libra. So many Libra birthdays. And let me tell you what, say a special birthday to my sister Audra, my brother Pablo, who many of you know, and another sister who I've been knowing for 40 years. Kim Terry went to high school with me. And I say those three names because they have October 7th birthdays, just like my mother. They're born on the same day as my mother. And so I'm lifting them up today. And Audra and I have always connected on that. So happy birthday to you all and to all the Libras. It is harvest time, my friends. It is harvest time. And it's really a great blessing to share this harvest with the family. And, we've been doing this work for 25 years. We've been gathering lessons. We've been gathering gifts. We've been gathering even in grief sometimes, gathering all of our experiences together to come together for 25 years now and kind of reap this harvest together. It's a special thing to do it together, fam. And I want to acknowledge that all of those who've been at TLC for a long time, I don't know whether you've been there for, 1 month, 1 week, but certainly if you've been there for 20, 25 years, we've seen each other grow together. We've seen each other reap together. We've seen each other learn these lessons together. We've seen each other fall together. We've seen each other fall back and take steps back and keep growing. We've seen each other do that, man. So that's a blessing to be able to do that together. Amen. That is a blessing to do that with your family in an intimate way. So we're going to celebrate that this year, 25 years with TLC, and we'll do that this month. And I hope to see you this month as well and be able to celebrate with you in a few weeks. Let's join together with everybody who's in the room as we get ready for this message, and let's just take a few breaths and breathe ourselves into the room, breathe ourselves into this space. And I'm going to affirm Lord's Prayer as I see it, as we see it. And I'm going to just ask you to join your spirits and join your souls together as we affirm this prayer together. Our Creator and Most High God, who resides in the highest realms of our consciousness, sacred be your name and your place. May your truth be our only reality, and may it be on earth as it is above in the heaven. May the blessings of today be sufficient for today. Give us grace for our missteps as we give grace to those whose missteps have afflicted. Supply us with the power to resist the temptation, be deceived by appearance, distracted by form, give in to wayward thought. Let us instead embrace in thought and in deed only your highest ways. And now we acknowledge that there's only one presence and one presence and one power active in our lives. God, good, God, omnipotent. And for this we give you thanks. We affirm that everything in the earth has one impact. Amen. Let's say. And so it is. So it is. Let's get ready for this, fam. I always set the intention for this message to be healing, to be liberating, all of those things, and to just free us up and be healing. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited to do this message in the month of October because the month of October is the month of zeal. If you know anything about zeal, zeal is the month of enthusiasm, the force that incites the wind. And I want to affirm our a zeal theme for this morning by the following affirmation. I'm energized by the power of God's presence in my life this day. My enthusiasm comes from the deep well of God's love that is the source of my life. My joy is contagious and I shine my light in the world. Energized by the power of God. Our theme this month is Oh Taste and See. Oh Taste and See that the Lord is good. And I can say after 25 years, TLC can say with zeal and conviction, Oh Taste and See that the Lord is good. We got many things going on all the time at TLC. And Janice, so I'll go back to the first announcement. I know you brought that up. Just want to make sure everybody knows that on Mondays you see Soak Mondays. On Mondays we be soaking. We be soaking with Danny Stillwell on Mondays. You have got the information right there. Go to the website to get that information. Um, and tune in with us and with Danny. She leads us as we soak into spirit. Mondays, the beginning of the week, is a great time. No better time to do that. Come in and soak with Danny Stillwell on Monday mornings. And then we have on Tuesdays, we have our teaching series, The Laws of Spirit by Dan Millman, A Tale of Transformation. And so, you've got the information there. Again, come in. These classes are to continue to give us the gifts. These are the things, fam, that help us bring in the harvest, to bring in our gifts, to grab our learning together and learn and grow and all that, and share and transform. And so, come with us on Tuesdays and get all that information. You can get the passcode and the Zoom code and all that from the TLC website as well. So join us Tuesdays on that. This month, fam, this month on October 28th, it is a special event, an intimate conversation with our own Reverend Shahira and the great Iyanla Van Zant. It's an intimate conversation about their legacy, their friendship, their sisterhood, and their love. You know, they have a special friendship and a special love. And if you've been at TLC for a time, you already know about that. That is going to be on Fridays. That's going to be on Friday, October 28th, 2022. Iyanla will also give a special message for us. Now, here's the thing, fam. To get that ticket, the only place you can get that is the TLC website. Go to the TLC website, register for that event. You receive all the information, Zoom information you need to join that. That is a special event. Now, listen, that space might be limited, so go if you can. As soon as this message is over, go and get that ticket to come to that. This is going to be a special time. Iyanla was certainly special in Rev's life and special in TLC starting and being what it is now. So join us on October 28th for that from 8 to 10 Eastern time. All right. Again, ticket is $50. Go to the TLC website to get that ticket. And I want to remind everybody to stay to the end of the broadcast. If you missed anything about the announcements, stay to the end of the broadcast. The announcements will come up again, and you can get any of that information if you missed it. All right. So again, let's get into this message. All right. I hope the message is something that you can use, something that you can harvest. And so let's talk about harvesting our gifts, shall we? And so I want to start with a scripture found in James, the first chapter, the 17th verse. James, first chapter, 17th verse says, "Every good and perfect gift is from above." Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. Every good and perfect gift is from above. So, fam, let's talk about gifts for a minute. Let's just talk about gifts for a minute. One of the first times we hear about gifts is, you hear that story about the three wise men who brought gifts to the Christ child, right? The three wise men who brought gifts to the Christ child, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. You know about those gifts. Gifts, and each one of those gifts has a spiritual meaning, right? Has a spiritual meaning. But what kind of stuck on me when I looked at myrrh is that while some of these gifts, particularly frankincense and myrrh, have a fragrance to them, the myrrh is kind of pungent. it's kind of a bitter. It has an aroma, but it's kind of bitter, kind of a pungent smell. So imagine, if you will, receiving a gift, fam, that's kind of odorous and kind of pungent. Yet it's considered a gift. Yet it's considered a gift. No matter how odorous and how pungent it may be, it is a gift and it's meant to be a gift. So I want us to keep that in mind as we proceed through this message. We hear about gifts at other places in the Bible. We hear about gifts, spiritual gifts for the edification of the kingdom of God. People talk about gifts all the time. They talk about the gift of prophecy, they talk about the gift of tongues. People talk about the gift of discernment. People talk about the gift of healing. These are all gifts, and we readily, I think, accept those gifts, or many of us do, because we expect that they'll be used for our spiritual edification, the edification of the kingdom of God. So we accept those gifts, and we use them for their intended purpose. But usually, I think, fam, usually when we think about gifts, we think about something that's pleasurable, something that's desirable. We like to buy gifts. We buy gifts for ourselves. Many of us like surprise gifts. For others, gift giving is their love language. They give gifts, they get gifts. We like gifts. Many people are even using their gifts right now to make a living. Many people have they have the gift of writing, they have the gift of speaking, they have the gift of making things, they have the gift of being an artist, they have the gift of getting people together to do certain things. That is a gift. Use that gift to make a living. Many people who are working full time use the gift as a side hustle. And so I want us to think about gifts. These are gifts that people use. People gifts that people have. God given gifts. Um, but it's also customary, fam. It is also customary that when you talk about gift giving, that in some cultures, that it is customary that you bring a gift to the home of the host. If someone is hosting a party, if they're hosting a dinner at their home, if they're hosting some, a host or a hostess, it's customary that you bring a gift to the home, and usually you find out what they like and what they don't like, and then you bring that gift to the home. Now let's be real, fam. Sometimes when you get ready to go over to someone's house and you think of a gift, or you forgot to get a gift for someone, you look around the house and you grab something from your house that hadn't been opened yet, and you take that for the gift. Let's tell the truth, fam. I know some of you all have done that. You something that's unopened, you take it from the house and you take it as a gift to someone else's house. So if it's like a bottle of wine, you know what I mean, that you got and it's at home and it's not open, you say, let me take this over there. Um, and if you take wine or you take food over to someone's house as a gift, then you all may eat it while you're there, or drink it while you're there. And sometimes the host might even save it for themselves and save it for later. And so these are all the different type of gifts we're talking about this morning. Now they might even, if it's a gift that someone doesn't use right then in the moment. Sometimes people regift that if they don't like the gift, they don't find use for. They might even regift it to someone else. How many of y'all have done that? How many of you have regifted someone? You don't have to put it in the chat, but you can just answer to yourself. We regift things all the time if they don't want it. But nevertheless, you have taken your gift over to the host, the house of the host, and so that is symbolic of being showing appreciation for that host opening their home up, or sponsoring that event, or whatever they're doing. So really the point is, fam, that typically we like gifts and we give gifts and stuff like that. And you know what, we like them so much, fam, give so much, and we're so accustomed to gifts coming in a certain way sometimes that we often don't recognize the gift. We often don't accept it if it's not packaged the way we like, if we don't see that it's useful in the moment or it doesn't come packaged the way we like, we don't recognize it because it's not packaged the way we like. We sometimes don't accept that gift. We sometimes don't honor that gift. I'm reminded of a funny story Erica told me years ago about her dad, and they were joking around, and it was Christmas time, and her mom wanted to play a practical joke on her dad, and so they knew that Erica knew her dad wanted a certain gift for Christmas, and so they kind of pranked him. So at Christmas time, they when it's time to give gifts, I think they gave him some benign gift like a pair of socks or something like that, maybe a tie or something like that, something, and I don't think he could hold it in. He showed it on his face that he didn't really want that gift, and he said, I don't want this, and so they laughed, and they actually gave him the actual gift that they got for him. But the funny thing was he couldn't. You know how sometimes someone give you a gift you don't like, you might be like, oh, that's nice, and accept the gift. No, he couldn't hide it on his face. He didn't want that. He didn't want that gift. Um, but he ended up getting the gift that he wanted. But initially it wasn't what he wanted. He showed his disappointment, and so that is sometimes what we do when we get gifts that we can't recognize them as a gift. Now we're going to talk about some spiritual gifts in a minute, gifts for our edification. And so, because if we really want to harvest, right? If we really want to prosper from our gifts, we're going to have to reframe the way we look at gifts. We really have to reframe the way we look at gifts. And if we want to reframe the way we look at gifts, fam, we have to reframe the way we look at what's good and what's perfect. When I read that scripture from James 1:17, it says, every good and perfect gift comes from above. Every good and perfect gift. We're going to have to reframe how we define good and perfect if we want to accept the gifts and honor the gifts that we have for our spiritual edification. Uh, you know, uh, the truth is that at some of our most challenging times and some of the most challenging people that we've ever experienced brought us gifts. And if I was to tell you that challenging time or that challenging person was bringing a gift. I mean, sometimes I think our first response might be gift my ass. That is certainly didn't feel like a gift. It felt like a curse. I don't want to go through that again. I want that person to get out of my life. I can't wait for them to get out of my life, him or her out of my life. That how could that be a gift for me? How could what I experience be a gift? Now I have to admit, fam, we have to admit that sometimes you realize it's a gift in retrospect, that you don't recognize the gift right then. But in retrospect, you recognize that there was some gift, and sometimes you have to find that gift. Fam, sometimes we have to search and find what that gift is. I think in those moments when we're receiving something from God, that's going to be for our ultimate spiritual edification. We might cry out to God, I don't want this. Hey, I do not want this. I do not want this, and I can't help but think of our brother Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, and I can imagine him in the Garden of Fam. I have a sense of imagination. I have a sense of humor as well, and I can imagine God whispering in Jesus's ear about telling him what his mission was going to be, and he's whispering in Jesus' ear, and this is what I want you to do, and I can imagine Jesus looking up and what you want me to do? You want me to do what? And God says, yeah, I want you to do this, and want me to do what? And God says, it's going to be but it's going to be a gift for you, and it's going to be a gift for humanity. Even what? And finally, Jesus says, okay, Okay, and see that's a story when Jesus says, "Let this cup pass from me. Let this gift pass. Let this experience pass from me. But yet I'll do it because if it's your will, if it is your will." So sometimes, we don't want that thing. We don't want that thing. We can't see it as a gift. We can't see it as ever being a gift. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be painful. I don't want this right now. I can't do this right now. But yet, family, yet God reframes the way we look at gifts. God reframes the way we look at our experience. God reframes everything for our spiritual growth and for our spiritual edification. So I want to talk for a minute about gifts that guests bring. As we talk about, hey, you're a guest, you take a gift over to someone's house. But more specifically, I want to talk about, fam, the unexpected guests and the unexpected gift. The unexpected guest and the unexpected gift. Now, let me ask you this for a minute because I know it's happened to me. Have you ever had someone who just popped up at your home? You don't expect them. They just ring the doorbell, knock on the door. You don't expect them. They just pop up. I have to tell you, nothing can be more annoying than someone just popping up at your house when you didn't expect it. You're not ready for them. You haven't prepared for them, but yet they just knock on your door. They ring your doorbell. It happens to me and Erica all the time, But and we think it's we don't know who it is, and so in our home. Erica's office is all the way upstairs. Mine is all the way downstairs. And if the bell rings, if we hear the doorbell ring and we're like, oh my God, I wonder who that is. And so, all the way from downstairs, I text Erica, were you expecting somebody? Or she'll text me, were you expecting somebody? Nope. Nope. And Erica say something like, I'm about to go into a meeting, or I'll say I'm about to go into a meeting, just because we don't want to go to the door and see who it is. Now we can certainly run upstairs and ask each other that, or we can yell up the stairs, but we don't want to, alert whoever might be at the door that someone's home. Ain't that something, hiding in your own house sometimes when unexpected guests come? But nothing can be more annoying than that. And then, usually what happens is I'll go to the door, I look through the peephole, and I'll see a UPS or a FedEx truck pulling off, and it was just someone dropping something off on the porch and ringing the doorbell, letting us know that it was there. But we had all that anxiety about the unexpected guests coming over to our house, because you think you didn't invite anybody. I didn't invite anybody over to the house. Why should somebody be knocking on my door? Why should somebody be ringing the doorbell? I didn't invite anybody. But fam, if we're talking about our spiritual growth, if we're talking about our spiritual growth now, our spiritual growth, the truth is that experiences or guests that come into our lives, your soul invited them. Your soul invited them for your soul's growth. And so, unbeknownst to us, our soul attracts guests and attracts strangers to our lives for our soul growth that we didn't want. We don't want to see. We don't want to see them. We didn't invite them, but yet they are here. And our soul invited them. Our soul invited those experiences. I want to say psychotherapy, fam. Psychotherapy is kind of, some of the latest psychotherapy models are kind of recognizing what truth teachings have realized for quite some time. It's recognizing that we have these multiple selves inside of ourselves. It's like a self for this, a self for this, self for this, but multiple selves, so to speak, and for the purpose of this, I'll say multiple guests, if you will, but they all serve a purpose. All these selves, if you will, or all these guests serve a purpose, and this one particular model that talks about that is the internal family systems model. I don't know if you heard about that, but there's that model is authored by Dr. Richard Schwartz. He not only talks about that model, he wrote a book. He wrote a book I have right here called No Bad Parts. No bad parts. I would encourage anybody to get that book, not just someone who's in therapy, not just someone who is experiencing trauma, but I think it is a good reading. I haven't read the whole book, of course, but I think it is a good model that talks about or kind of aligns what we talk about here at TLC. It aligns with truth teachings. The model assumes, fam, that all parts of ourselves serve a purpose. And as I said when I opened up the room this morning, all are welcome. Come on in. Come on into the room. The model assumes, or this thinking assumes, that all are welcome, that all guests are welcome. So let me tell you a little bit about the model. So you have different parts of self. And as we always talk about our true self, right? Our true self is the self that is compassionate, that is calm, that is courageous, that is creative, that is connected, that's clear, that's confident. That is who we are. We know who our true self is. If you've been a part of TLC's teacher, we know about the true self. That is who we are. But we also have parts of ourselves that are kind of stuck, right? From trauma that experience. If you experience trauma at 10 years old or 20, 15, whatever that is, you can be stuck right there at that age. You can be stuck at the trauma, and that part of yourself was almost exiled from your true self because it's standing alone, stuck in that time, stuck in that trauma. But yet you still have your true self, but that is still a part of you in exile. Then you have parts of yourself too that may want to protect, that may want to protect you, that may want to protect that exile. That maybe you develop some type of personality that because now you want to protect that part of you that feels fear, that part of you that feels shame and anxiety because of what you experience. All that, you might develop something to manage that, a part of yourself, and you might start people pleasing. I heard Rev talk about that last week, being a people pleaser. Certainly that has been part of my experience. You might become a controller, you might become a perfectionist, all these things to try to hide the exile part and try to mask over it. You might become one who's a critic. You might become one who likes to deny everything. You might intellectualize everything. You might spiritualize everything. All these things, and then you might have a part of yourself that really just when things really get out of hand and you need to control, and you need to try to protect that person who was feeling shame or who was exiled. You might start engaging in addictions. You might start drinking as an addiction. You might start eating too much. You might start spending too much. You might start drugging too much. But all these things, right? All these things are a part of ourselves. And oftentimes, family, when you talk about the part of you that was stuck at that age, the part of you that's stuck in that certain experience, the part of you that won't forgive, all those things, and the part of you that tries to hide it by being a people pleaser, all those things, or the part of you that try to drown it out by your addictions, all those selves sometimes can show up like strangers or unexpected guests to our house. They can show up like strangers or unexpected guests to our house. And I know this for sure, fam. We have to be transparent and real. I know they show up for me like unexpected guests or strangers every now and then. Fam, I wake up in the wee hours in the morning. It can be 2 or 3 in the morning, and I feel like my thoughts are attacking me. I just have that sometimes. My thoughts are attacking me. It's like a mini anxiety attack. It's like, I start, thoughts of doubt, thoughts of fear, all those things can creep in, man. And I try to get rid of them. I try to distract them. I try to do that, and every now and then that happens, fam. That's just real. I try to distract it by turning on the TV. Maybe I can turn something on to distract me. A couple of times I got up at 2 or 3 in the morning, took some Unisom. Let me try to get back to sleep and quiet these voices in my head. That didn't work because the Unisom I took it, but it didn't hit till about 7 hours later when I was at work, and I was out of it about 11 or 12 o'clock. But I was trying to drown out the voice. I was trying to distract it by the TV. Sometimes I even try the old school method of counting sheep. My mother taught me that years ago. But I get distracted before I even can get to 25, so that don't work for me. I can't even count sheep. But every now and then, if we tell the truth, we might get attacked by some strange thoughts, by guests in our house that we didn't invite. But you know what, fam? Lately, I've stopped resisting. And I'm going to suggest for you that you stop resisting that guest. You stop trying to kick that guest out. Because the truth is that what you resist will continue to persist. And if you keep resisting that guest will keep showing up. It will keep showing up. And so instead of resisting the guest, fam, instead of trying to kick them out, instead of cursing them out, you have to ask it a question. What did you come for? You have to ask that experience, that guess, whatever that is, what did you come for? What are you trying to tell me? And what gift are you bringing? What did you come for? What are you trying to tell me? And what gift are you bringing? Because, see, if all those parts of yourself are welcome, then you have to welcome with open arms. And asking those questions, being curious is going to ensure that you do some healing, and that particular guest might not show up anymore. You know, it's almost like asking, hey, what's your name? What is your name and why did you come? You know, when Jesus was healing, oftentimes, particularly when he was healing the man was possessed with many what they say demons, or I say multiple personalities, multiple selves, whatever. And before Jesus could do any type of healing, he asked, he said, what is your name? What is your name? And the response was legion, and legion means like multiple demons, multiple people. Well, and what is your name? And I think, fam, I just think that if you can get the name, then you can find out why they came. What is your name? What are you here to bring me? If I know your name. So when I asked the question, fam, when I asked the question, and I discovered that the guest was there to teach me about the gift of patience. I discovered that the guest was there to teach me that all is well, that all is going to be okay. I discovered that the guest was there to tell me to stop trying to control, stop trying to control, trying to control what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, that all is well. Stop being impatient. Stop trying to change the world in one day. Stop trying to do all these things. Stop trying to do it. And then, see, when you accept the guest with open arms, then you can caress the guest. Then you can start loving. You can start loving all parts of yourself. Then you can heal it. If you can endure the visit, if you can endure the visit of that guest, when that guest leaves, you'll be restored to your true self. When that guest leaves, you'll be restored to being confident, courageous, and calm and clear. Certainly, that is what I experience. But you have to ask the guest, and you have to wait for the answer. Why are you here? And wait for the answer. So the internal family systems model says, and truth teaching says that all parts are welcome. That all things work together for good. All things all things might not feel good, but all things work together for good. What are you here to teach me? I want to bring up another scripture found in Hebrews 13 in the second chapter. And it said, do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, people have shown hospitality to angels without even knowing it, So when those guests come, when those times come, when those thoughts come, you have to show hospitality. If you want to get beyond it, if you want to heal, you have to show hospitality, because that gift, whatever that gift is you're getting, is an angel. It's an angel in disguise, and you don't even know it. And you don't even know it, fam. So I have discovered, fam, that just like the wise men who brought gifts to the Christ child, that there's always a wise intelligence that's going to bring us gifts for the benefit of your Christ self. I'm going to say that again, fam. Just like the wise men brought gifts to the Christ child, there's always a wise intelligence that's going to bring you gifts for the benefit of your Christ self. So I say, don't reject the guests, fam. Don't reject those guests. Because the truth is, those guests need some loving attention that they haven't gotten, evidently and obviously, they haven't gotten before. You know, if you try to kick them out, you try to not hear them, try to not be hospitable, you kick them out. They need some loving attention. They need hospitality. They're a stranger that needs hospitality. And they need some loving attention because if you reject the guests, you reject the gift. If you reject the guests, you reject the gift. And if you reject the gift, you reject God. Because that's how God works. And so ultimately, you see, if you reject the guest, you reject God and what God is trying to teach you. But when you reject the gift, you can reject it if you want to. I don't want this. Let this pass. I don't want this experience. I don't want this. I'm trying to get away from these thoughts. I'm gonna do everything to numb these feelings, these thoughts of mine. I'm gonna all that. You can do that if you want to, but you know what? God won't get mad. God will not get mad at you because this is for your edification. This is for your spiritual growth. God won't get mad. You know what God will do? God will just shake the dust from her feet and regift it to someone else who wants to harvest it, to someone else who wants to use the gift, to someone else who can honor the gift, to someone who can learn from the gift. God won't get mad. She will shake the dust from her feet and regift it to someone else if you don't want it. And I don't want that to happen to anybody. I don't want that to happen to anybody. But if you do, just know it's no sense in you wondering years later, 10 or 20 years later, why someone else's light is so bright and you can't recognize them anymore. And why you're still sitting in the same spot, complaining about the same old thing, waiting for a gift that comes in pretty packaging. You can't wonder why. If you reject the guest, if you reject the stranger, if you reject the gift, don't wonder why you haven't grown. Don't wonder why things keep coming back to you. The same lessons have to keep coming back. Oh, I know I'm speaking to someone today. You don't want the lessons to keep looping over and over and over and over. You want to accept all that God has. Bring me all that you have. God, let me harvest it. Let me harvest all that you have. I'm open, I'm ready, and I'm willing. Because every experience that we've ever had is like a guest and is waiting to tell you why it came. Is waiting to tell you why it came if you ask the question. If you ask the question. I want to David Hawkins. David Hawkins, who's a psychiatrist, he's also a mystic and a spiritualist and all like that. I love the quote that David Hawkins he says, every life experience, no matter how tragic, contains a lesson. And when we discover and acknowledge the hidden gift that is there, a healing takes place. Every life experience, fam, no matter how tragic, contains a hidden lesson. And when we discover and acknowledge the hidden gift that is there, a healing takes place. Fam, I know that we have learned, if we haven't learned anything, fam, that all the teachings, everything we've done at TLC, everything we've preached, every class we've given, every retreat that we have is to remind us that there are no bad parts in us, fam. There are no bad parts. Welcome all the guests. Welcome all the experiences. Don't walk around trying to defend and protect yourself because that will be the point where you're attacked. Don't walk around trying to do that. Welcome all the guests. Welcome all experience. They strangers. Show that stranger some hospitality because God can use it all for the harvest. Fam, God can use it all for the harvest. I want to, fam, I want to end with this quote. Um, and this quote is um, from Islamic sister who's an educator and she's a spiritualist and all those things, named Yasmin Mogahed. And she says, your life is nothing more than a love story between you and God, nothing more. Every person, every experience, every gift, every loss, every pain is sent to your path for one reason and one reason only, to bring you back to Him, to bring you back to her. Nothing more than a love story, fam, between you and God. Every experience, every gift, every guest is there to teach you something. It's to bring you back to God. And I know this, fam. I know this truth for me. And I know this truth for everybody who's in this room, and certainly for those of you who've been at TLC for years, that when you look back over your life, when you look back over your life and you think about all the experiences, you think about everything in your life, you know, and when you think about it in this perspective we're talking about, I know I have to shout out what a good God I serve. What a good God we serve. Fam, every good and perfect gift is from God. Every good and perfect gift is from God. And as for me, fam, I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way. So we leave here, we are empty, we are willing, we are surrendered, we are ready for God to bring all that He has for us to keep on growing closer to Him, closer to her, closer to it. A love story bringing you back to her. Amen. I say, and so it is. So it is, man. Fam, I hope someone got something from this message today. I hope someone got something that you can use today, that you can use in your life. I hope you got a little healing. I hope you got a little liberation. I hope you got a little clarity. And I hope you got a little forgiveness, not just for yourself, but for that guest that you didn't want to be hospitable to that stranger that you didn't. Fam, if you have gotten anything, and this is what TLC has been for 25 years, we're celebrating that. If you have gotten anything in your life from this message, or whether it's from the teachings Please give back to this ministry. Give back to this ministry. What you give will be returned to you tenfold. And for many of us, we can't even put a price on what PLC has given us. There is no price. So give back generously. There's ways to do that. You can go to the PLC page, go to our webpage, transforminglovecommunity.com, PayPal, give a five. There's many ways to give. You see the Cash App handle right there. Many ways to give. Give today, fam. And give generously, because when you're giving generously, you're giving to yourself. Amen. I say, and so it is. I'm going to end with a prayer of protection, because this is something that we know, don't hope for. This is something we know. We know that the light of God surrounds. We know that the love of God enfolds us. We know that the power of God protects, and we know that the presence of God always watches over. That wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you, fam. Enjoy this harvest season. Have a wonderful week. I love you.